Hey everyone, welcome back. We always talk about getting a clear view of where the world's going, right?
Mm.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive on something that gives us a peek into that. Women in leadership positions around the world.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, so we're looking at some research about basically how many women are in those top positions in companies, globally. And honestly, the stuff we found is pretty interesting. More than just numbers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this data is kind of like a window into not just companies, but like cultural attitudes and economic realities around the world.
For sure. So, okay, let's dive into some numbers. The global average of women in these big, important board seats, it's sitting at 29.6%.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, well, that's not too bad, but it's kind of deceiving because when you zoom in, there are huge differences between countries.
Right.
Like New Zealand, they're killing it at 46%, really breaking that glass ceiling.
It's impressive. And what's really interesting to me is how they got there. New Zealand's been, really proactive. They've got these corporate governance codes. They're really transparent, and they've got specific initiatives to help women climb that ladder, so to speak. Seems to be working.
It really makes you think, makes you wonder why other countries aren't, well, copying their homework a little. Then, on the other hand, you've got places like South Korea, they're at 12.8%, and Estonia's even lower at 10.3%. Huge gap, right?
Yeah, huge gap. It's really a complex mix of things: history, social stuff, economic forces. In some cultures, there are just these like super strong ideas about what men and women should do, and those ideas, they kind of limit women's chances to lead. Then in other cases, it's more practical. Like if there's no good childcare, affordable childcare, it's really hard for women to compete in those super demanding jobs,
It's true. It's like a puzzle, trying to figure out why things are the way they are. Speaking of puzzles, the U.S. is at 31.3%. Interesting. Not the best, not the worst. But here's something I was thinking about. The research, it focuses on the largest publicly listed companies, right? What does that even mean in this context?
Oh, that's a really important point.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about any company. We're talking about corporations with like serious economic power. The decisions made in those boardrooms, they have ripple effects.
Yeah.
They affect industries, whole economies, really the whole world.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So basically, more diversity in those rooms, it could mean good things for everyone, right? Not just the company itself.
Exactly. When you have more diverse perspectives in the room, you're more likely to get creative solutions, a better understanding of what people actually want. And research even suggests it can mean stronger financial performance, too.
Wow, okay.
And it goes beyond just business, too. It's kind of a reflection of society's values, their commitment to giving everyone a fair shot.
That's a good point. So where do we go from here? Is this moving fast enough, or is it going to take forever to see real change?
Well, the data we're looking at is from 2022, so it's a pretty recent snapshot.
Right.
And change is happening, but it's, rarely overnight. Some countries are trying to speed things up with quotas,
Yeah.
like setting targets for women on boards. But some people say that's not enough, that we need to really change the system, get rid of the root problems that hold women back.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, is looking at boardrooms the whole picture? What about other leadership positions?
It's an important piece, for sure, but it's just one piece. You're right, women are still underrepresented in executive roles across almost every industry.
Yeah.
To really understand the challenges, we got to look beyond the boardroom, see what obstacles are in the way at every level.
Wow. So much to think about. It's like you start digging into this and you realize how complex it really is.
Exactly. And that's why this data is so important. It makes us question things, ask tough questions, think about what kind of future we want to see. So knowing what we know now, how does this change how you see leadership, the companies you support, even the opportunities where you go after?
Such a good question. I think this has been a really eye-opening deep dive. Hopefully it sparks some curiosity for you too. Thanks for joining us.